Good afternoon. Right, we're just going to do, honestly, today is a big day. Today was the day Big Ed's arrived, and it's been on the cards for about 2 years. It's taken me a solid 12 months, 18 months in the background trying to pull this together from our suppliers. It's probably of little interest to most of my customers, but one of my missions has been to A, get our charcoal in a box. You can probably tell from behind me that we have a number of different charcoals. We have oak from Turkey, we have a mangrove charcoal, we also have what we call our bincho, which is a 7-hour hardwood pressed briquette charcoal. We have some eucalyptus on the way, and we have some eucalyptus binchatan on the way. But we've got Big Ed's. Now, I've been working on Big Ed's for a while, as I say. I've been selling charcoal for quite a few years, and we were always selling all the other brands of charcoal, which we still do. Big K, Green Olive, Heat Beads, we sell them all, Glow Baltic. The main thing that we've found, because we sell quite a bit online, but we also deliver quite a bit into restaurants, is all of those come in a bag, which sounds fantastic, but they're awkward to handle, and we always have to repackage them to send them out. So the box offers a lot of protection. To me, I've been importing products for 25 years. It makes no sense to have something arrive in the UK, to buy a box in the UK, to spend hours every week reboxing products. So I've been working for several years trying to get charcoal in boxes. Sounds really easy, but it's been remarkably difficult to do. So Big Ed's, we first had Big Ed's back in 2022. It was a bag of charcoal, birchwood, fantastic charcoal, loved it. We had our own branding put on, Big Ed's, and then since we ran out of that in early 2023, if memory serves, I've not been able to replace it because I've been looking for a very specific type of charcoal that A, is very competitive on price, that's in a box, that's in a bag, in a box already, so that it doesn't get dust everywhere, and that has got a number of different burning characteristics. It's got to have big lumps because that seems to be what everybody wants, but it also got to have a good burn time, it's got to have a nice flavour. So there's quite a few boxes to tick. If I was to say anything to anybody out there, is when you're choosing your charcoal, choose it like you choose an ingredient. Don't just go out to any of the big DIY stores in the supermarket and just buy any old charcoal, because that's just like cooking your food in any old oil or throwing any old seasoning on it. It could turn out to be rubbish simply because the flavour coming from the wood, the charcoal that you're using, is rubbish, adding really unwanted, acrid, distasteful flavours to your food. And then people, particularly the instant barbecue brigade, when it's got petrochemicals drenched into the charcoal, cook a sausage down at the country park on a weekend and then wonder why it tastes awful. Well, it's the charcoal. I'm a big foodie, I have been for many years, I've been barbecuing for many years. I'm not an expert in terms of barbecuing, although I've got my fair share of barbecues and I just love grilling meat. But what I am very good at is eating, and I'm just really good at knowing what I like and what I don't like, and the charcoal makes a huge difference. I'm really excited about Big Ed's because it's big chunks, it's at an amazing price, because let's face it, everything's getting more and more expensive these days. Well, I've gone in the other direction. We've made this the cheapest charcoal that we've sold. That's point number one. Point number two, like I've said already, it's got these big lumps in it, and it's made from a mixture of 3 different woods. So you've got coffee in there. Coffee is obviously a bush, a product, a commodity that's used in enormous quantities around the world. So there's an abundance of branches to use from the coffee industry. It's got eucalyptus in there. Eucalyptus, one of the fastest growing hardwoods there are, if not the fastest. So it's an amazing product to be farmed. I think it grows at about 2 meters a year. It might even be 3 meters. It's extremely consistent. It produces a high heat. It dries really easily. Doesn't have any unpleasant flavors to it, and it's quite low in smoke. It produces, like I say, a very high heat, so it's a perfect charcoal used in enormous amount in South America. I believe it's their go-to, or one of their go-to charcoals. And the other one is mangrove, and we've added mangrove in there. It comes from sustainable sources. It's just a small percentage of the mix. It's very, very dense. It's got a beautiful sweet flavour to it. It gives you long burns. It's an amazing charcoal, and it's just used in here in small quantities to give you the big head, lump, chunk angle to the product. You'll love it. I'm going to get my hands dirty and we're just going to pull these out. Literally, we've unloaded the container this morning. I've rushed to the shop, dropped it off at the shop today so that it's for sale. We had a pre-sale which is still available now. The discount code on our website, which is www.thebarbecueexperts.co.uk. If you use Big Eds, all one word, plural, Big Eds, all one word, in the coupon code in the checkout, you'll get £5 off. So that's making this £17 for 10 kilos. And that's an amazing price when you consider that this is basically a very high-end charcoal with a long burn time, big chunks, amazing flavour. Yet you can go and buy cheaper charcoal elsewhere. I'm perfectly well aware of that. But when you compare this to all the other major brands out there that have got some decent amount of foodie branding to them, i.e. they're a decent quality charcoal that's worth cooking with, then this really is amazingly well priced. One more thing I'll say, just going back in on the food element, we do the oak charcoal, as I've mentioned, the mangrove, the bincho. The reason I've got into importing all of these different brands of charcoal is because I love experimenting with flavour, and the charcoal is such an important ingredient in your cooking that it really, really is worth taking your time experimenting with the different charcoals. You might be in a robust char grill flavour mood one day on your steak or your burger, use the oak. You might want a delicate, sweet, smoky flavour, that's where you want to use the mangrove. You just want to do a long cook, you're probably adding smoking chips into your smoker, use the bincho. You're going to get, gosh, in the smoker here, the Pro Q, I've had 14 to 15 hours out of it, piece of cake. So this stuff here, this is going to be an all-round grilling wood. It will be suitable for basically everything. You're going to get flavour, longevity, you've got price, you've got big lumps. So I'm going to pour some of this out. I'm not going to pour it all out, quite simply because there's not room on the table for it. Let's get a bit more out. So you can see in here, you've got the eucalyptus. There's quite a distinct difference between the woods when you look at them. You've got the mangrove wood. The smaller pieces in here, these pieces, these are going to be from your coffee. Basically, the coffee is the really cheap part of it. The eucalyptus is it's an above average charcoal, so it's an above average expense. The mangrove's really quite expensive. So when you combine those three, you're getting a really high value product. Oh, let's get a bit more out. You can see here basically the lump and chunk sizes. Absolutely fantastic. And just in case you were thinking that was a bit of a prop there, because I'd already got it open, genuinely hadn't. When we opened the container this morning, I was like a kid in a sweet shop, and this was the first box that I opened. I'll be cooking on it later. Here's another box. In fact, I'm not going to tip this out. I'm just going to get a handful out of it for you. You've got eucalyptus straight in the top there, look. Big lumps, medium lumps. Here it is. Absolutely stunning. It's going to be, the discount price, excuse me, I've got my hands on a massive lump here. Oh, come on, come on. Look at that, wicked. I mean, obviously some people are going to be breaking this down, but the whole point of having the mix in here, the coffee lights really easily, burns about 2 hours. The eucalyptus actually lights really easily, burns about 2.5 hours, maybe 3. Mangrove takes a bit more to get going because it's these big lumps. You can get 3 or 4 hours out of it, no problem at all. So get online, thebarbecueexperts.co.uk. The code is Big Eds. While it's available, make use, and you'll save £5 on every box. Thank you very much.